Ahoy mates, I am the River Pirate. Welcome to my channel, the River Pirate 13. Please stab that subscribe button. Today we'll be sampling a rum straight out of Barbados. It's called Tortuga Caribbean Gold Rum. Oh, this might be good. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? And we're going to be doing something a little different today. We'll be sampling it at the ruins of the Dummett Sugar Mill, Plantation, and Rum Distillery. It's a 19th century distillery ruin. So come aboard as we talk about rum, and heck, we'll talk about Florida's rum industry in the 19th century. Shavar! Welcome back, mates. I am the River Pirate, and we're going to be sampling this rum today. And you say, River Pirate, why are you at some kind of ruin here? What's going on? I don't know about anybody else, but my personal opinion is I like visiting ancient ruins. And if you can drink rum while you're doing it, that's even better. The one thing about this location is the gentleman that built it was from Barbados. And I'll get into that in a minute. But first, let's talk about the rum first. Tortuga Gold Caribbean Rum. It says blended and bottled in Barbados, West Indies. And Tortuga International Company actually was formed in Cayman Islands. Although on the bottle here it says St. Lucia, West Indies, so I'm pretty sure they're out of Grand Cayman. You can buy this rum just about any port in the Caribbean. I bought this one in Nassau, Bahamas. You can get it on the cruise ships. It's very readily found. Mostly the rum cakes is what they're known for, not so much the rum itself. But anyways, it's 40% alcohol, 80 proof, and as you can see, it's got a nice, real pretty color to it. If you're wondering why the bottle's half empty, it's because my wife was making rum cokes and she didn't realize that I was trying to save this for a video, but it's okay. I haven't had it, so we're going to try it out. So let me get something to pour in. I'll trust my little short pirate shot glass. I'll just pour a little bit in it because I don't need that much. You've already seen what the rum looks like. Alright, so let's see what we have here. Not bad. It's just off the nose. It's got the typical molasses smell that rum usually has. Almost like a little bit of a vanilla smell to it. And I don't know, kind of almost like a, I don't want to say marshmallow, but kind of smells like it a little bit. Alright, well, let's take a sip and see what we think. Wow. Instant burn. The second thing I tasted was instant burn. And now my back of my throat is instant burn. So, yeah, I think of the instant burn. Now, as far as the flavors go, I do taste the caramel flavor to it. It does have a caramel taste to it. I really think this is really a mixer rum, not necessarily straight up and sipping rum, just from the burn alone. I think if we iced it down or put it in a cocktail, it probably worked just fine. What do I think of it? Mixer rum? Yeah, sure. It wasn't very expensive, and I wouldn't expect it to be. I've had rum from Barbados, and they're 10,000 times more smooth, so I'm assuming this is just simply not aged at all, and the coloring is probably artificial. It probably didn't age in anything, but nonetheless, it's an okay rum. It'll be good in a cocktail. Like I said, I don't recommend this neat at all. So with that finishes the rum review part. So now I want to talk about where I'm at the Dummett sugar mill ruin and rum distillery ruin. So stand by. Alright, so we're going to talk about the Dummett Plantation Sugar Mill and Rum Distillery. Real quick, Colonel Dummett was from Barbados, and he traveled here in 1819. He was a planter, and he also cultivated sugarcane in Barbados. He was also a retired British Marine officer. There was slave uprisings happening in Barbados, and backtrack, 1809 is when the British forbade the slave trade, but the emancipation didn't happen until like 30 years later. So he saw the writing on the wall, decided, okay, Florida looks like a great place. It wasn't part of the United States yet. It was still under the the Spanish, under the second time they occupied the area. So he bought up 2,000 acres of land, and he started growing sugarcane. And this particular sugar mill is noteworthy because it had the first steam-powered sugarcane crusher, which was unheard of. Labor cost savings was incredible, even with slave labor, unreal. He was using, when they had to harvest the sugar, during harvest time, he had about 100 slaves working for him, and he had 40 local Seminole Indians. And you go, was Seminole Indians also slaves? No, they weren't. He was friends with them. In fact, they were volunteering to help out because there was he traded with them. He would give them the rum and whatever products this sugar mill could create, and the distillery. I think it was mostly the rum, if I was just Seminole Indian. But and so they would trade him with fresh game that they caught. So the Colonel Dummett never ran out of fresh meat. He was probably having deer steak every night. So they lived in a large log house, which who knows where it was here, but it was been around here nearby somewhere. It's long gone. And they had parties and dinners, and the inside looked more like don't think of log cabin syrup cabin. Think much bigger and much more elaborate on the inside. They had fancy paintings and furniture and all that. It definitely wasn't country. His daughter Anna also actually taught the children of the slaves how to read, and which was unheard of at the time. The Second Seminole War broke out, and Colonel Dummett also actually had a second home in St. Augustine, my hometown, and what we call now St. Francis Inn. And he decided that because the Seminoles were on a warpath, because the Stonewall Jackson was bound and determined to shove all the Indians west of the Mississippi, the concern he had was that even though he was friendly with the Indians and they wouldn't harm him, he just wanted to be safe, and he didn't. If the troops showed up, then all bets are off. So he went up to St. Augustine and took his family to keep it all safe. In 1836, the Seminoles came by and burned the mill down and burned the distillery down too, the rum distillery. You say, well, why would they do that if they liked the guy and they were friendly with him? Well, the main reason was that the U.S. troops, even though Florida wasn't a state yet, and this was Spanish territory, would have fortified this and made this a base. And because it has stone and everything, it would have made it pretty formidable from attack. So Seminole Indians typically would just burned the mills down or whatever so that it couldn't be used in a military fashion. The only thing they didn't burn down was the slave cabins, because it was the Seminoles had some kind of agreement with the African slaves that, hey, you can keep your house. I know it's not much, but we won't burn that down, I guess. So anyways, so it's a part of history that that is kind of very interesting to see, especially for Florida, because we don't have pyramids, we don't have Mayan temples, we don't have any of that, but we do have sugar mill ruins and rum distillery ruins. This one, dated from 1825 and lasted till 1835. The mill itself, this is all that remains of it. It's probably one of the least, what can I call it? Least intact sugar mills and rum distilleries that you can find in Ormond Beach, Florida. And I've done a couple videos so far on these, and I got a couple more coming up, ones that are a little more intact. So yeah, anyways, it's quite an interesting history. You can't really talk about rum and not talk about slavery, and you can't. I'm standing on the plantation grounds. This was a plantation, and I know there's a lot of controversy over the word plantation, but I just passed two housing developments, all with the name Plantation in them, so I don't know what they're going to do about that. They're going to leave it? I suppose they will. I know people, there's a rum company that wants to change the name Plantation. It's obvious why. Barbados, they had a huge slave history, and it's a time period that, wasn't, let's put it this way, I'm not going to judge it by today's morals. I'm just going to judge it by its own time period. And that was what was considered normal. We look at it and think, what were they thinking? And the Seminole Indians that were helping Dummett, they weren't slaves, and he was paying them. So it just makes you wonder if that, what were they thinking? But it's okay. It's history, and you know what? We get to look at this and say, wow, what it must have been like to live at that time period, what must have it been to do that. So anyways, outside of that, I'm not going to ramble on anymore about this sugar mill anymore, but I'll if you stay tuned, I'm going to get some more video and shots of it so you can kind of get a good look at what you can. They got a big huge fence with barbed wire across the top because they don't want anyone putting graffiti. As you can almost see in the picture, there's some graffiti marks because someone tried to ruin it, and that's bad. But you can see some of the burn marks from the fire and everything. So alright, enjoy the rest of the video. Shafar.